All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where and when you are joining us. I am your host, Katie Milton Jordan, and we are here for AI Action Class, Workshop 3 of 4 on the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. So let's take a quick look at the workshops in this series, where we've been, where we're headed, and what we're going to be doing today. So, workshop number 1, the physics of release and control, are now live on YouTube. Workshop number 2, the emotional fortress, is also live on YouTube. And today we are doing agency and assertive neutrality. So, the goal of today's AI action class is to reclaim your energy and learn to communicate without manipulation. The key topics we're going to be covering in today's AI action class is the pivot to personal agency, let them communication scripts, removing the hook, and assertive neutrality. Ooh, I like that word, assertive neutrality. And the deliverable that we are going to create together today using our AI workflow is the pivot and script guide, a daily schedule for your reclaimed time plus scripts for higher conflict conversations. I gotta admit, reclaimed time sounds delicious. So I am looking forward to this workflow. And before we jump into that, let's do a quick reminder on what is an AI action class. So our AI action classes all follow the same agenda. We spend some time in the beginning giving an introduction, some context around what we're going to be doing in this class. We spend some time learning the concepts in the book that we are running the AI action class for. Then we spend some time with independent application. You are welcome to work alongside me as I demonstrate the workflow in real time here in this workshop, or you're welcome to watch the demonstration and then do it independently after you've seen me run through all of the prompts. Then we come back together in community and we spend a few minutes sharing our insights and feedback. So again, today's workshop is workshop 3 of a 4-part series on the book, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. Now, let's talk a little bit about what is an AI workflow. So on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see that we have illustrated what is an AI workflow. This is our workflow prompt, and this is different from a long prompt in that we have baked in some interesting dynamics that allow us to work better and easier with this workflow. So one thing that is baked into this workflow is that each one of the questions or each one of the steps run one at a time, and we have an opportunity to add context to each of those steps that dynamically change how the AI or what the AI presents to us in the subsequent steps. So this is dynamically changing based on the information that you share with the AI. The other thing that we've baked into this is some guardrails so that the AI doesn't take you down a rabbit hole that you didn't intend. And if you've spent some time working with AI, you know that sometimes when you complete or answer a question that AI gives you, AI will give you another question. Do you want me to create a script? Do you want me to create an email? Do you want me to create an image? AI is really good about being engaging in that manner, but we've baked into this workflow the specific actions we do and don't want it to take so that we can stay on task and not get distracted by shiny objects. It may also be important to note that AI action classes can be applied to any business or personal development book on the planet. So this is kind of like a modern book summary service that has been infused with AI. We're going to walk away from today's workshop with 3 specific deliverables. 1, we are going to increase our AI fluency because we are going to be working actively with AI. The second thing we're going to take away from this workshop is that we are going to gain new knowledge on the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins because that is the context that we are working with. So we are going to learn the strategies in the book so that we can apply them to our own lives and businesses. And the final thing is that we're actually going to walk away with the pivot and script guide, a daily schedule for your reclaimed time and scripts for high conflict conversations. So we're actually walking away with a tangible deliverable that we can apply to our life and business. So, a reminder that when we do run the workflow, it's important to work on your work. And what that means is that we don't bring hypotheticals or theoreticals. We always bring a real world challenge or problem so that when we're working through this, we actually come out the other side with an ROI. Remember that this is your time to learn and explore not only the concepts in the book, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, but also your time to learn and explore with AI. So if there's something that you want to go deeper on, follow the AI in the direction that you want to learn more on. If you can't think of answers, I encourage you to ask the AI to make suggestions based on what it knows about you. And if you do get stuck, just speak to the AI as though you were giving instructions to an in-person assistant. So for example, you might tell the AI, that's not quite what I wanted. Do this instead. Make it stronger, weaker, prettier. Use your adjectives here to direct AI in the direction you want them to go. And I'm here to help if you get stuck. If you're not joining us live, you can always email me or find me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to help you with whatever you are working through. Let's get into our application for today's AI action class. I invite you to go to the link on your screen, bit.ly/AI formula, so you can quickly and easily go to that link. That is where we are going to find our workflow. So let me switch over to that public link. Okay. There we go. Once you get to the public link, you are going to find a variety of public resources that I have made available to folks like yourself and organizations like the ones that you likely work for. And what we are in here looking for, we are looking for the Let Them AI action class. We're going to go ahead and open up that file. You can see the prompts for action class 1, 2, and today's action class 3. We're going to come in here and we're going to grab this prompt right here. And I always encourage people to read the introduction of the prompt so that we have some context about what we're going to be doing in the next steps. This is also an opportunity for you to engage with the concepts in the particular book that we are working through. So we are there was workshop 3, the Let Them Agency and Assertive Neutrality. So it says, you are a high performance mindset coach specializing in the Let Them theory by Mel Robbins. Your goal is to guide me through workshop 3. And each step, you will explain where we are at, ask for context, perform the action based on my input, and confirm I'm ready to move on. The goal of today's workshop is to produce the pivot and script guide, a daily schedule for reclaimed time, combined with scripts for high conflict conversations. So these are the steps that we're going to be taking in today's workshop. In step 1, we will do the energy audit, identifying time lost to overfunctioning. The pivot plan, reinvesting energy into personal goals, removing the hook, identifying emotional manipulation in speech. Step 4, the power of assertive neutrality, mastering the OK technique. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Conflict scripting, building your let them responses. And the final deliverable is the pivot and script guide. So let's copy this entire prompt. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom because for me, it is slightly easier to copy from bottom to top than top to bottom, but you do you. And now I have copied this entire prompt. Today, I'm actually going to be working in Claude. So let me share that screen with you so you can see me work through this in the Claude LLM today. Here we go. So now I'm going to paste this entire script in here. I don't need to personalize anything. So we're just going to paste this in here and I'm going to go ahead and hit run. Oh, now look at that. Claude is being sassy, telling me it's not working right now. I don't believe you, so I'm going to try to run that again. And now it looks like Claude is getting the train back on the tracks. So workshop 3, pivot and script guide. So here's our roadmap, the energy audit, the pivot plan, removing the hook, the power of assertive neutrality, conflict scripting, and the final deliverable. So before we dive in, would you like a quick summary? And I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, I do want a summary because I am trying to learn the concepts in this book. And sometimes if we skip over that summary step, we don't get the educational concepts that we need in the subsequent steps. So let's spend some time learning about personal agency versus control. Control is the energy you spend trying to change other people, their choices, behaviors, timelines, or opinions. It shows up as nagging, hinting, or gentle reminders, worrying about decisions that aren't yours to make, overfunctioning, doing things for others they could do themselves, replaying conversations, strategizing how to get through to someone. Control feels productive, but it's an illusion. You cannot make another adult do anything. The energy you spend trying is energy you lose. Personal agency is the energy you spend on what you can control, your own actions, responses, boundaries, and goals. It shows up as stating your needs once clearly, then releasing the outcome, redirecting worry into action on your own priorities, letting others experience the natural consequences of their choices, investing in your own growth instead of managing someone else's. So the shift in one sentence is let them isn't about not caring. It's about caring enough about your own life to stop pouring your energy into things you were never able to control anyway. All right, this is really awesome. Now, one thing that I suspect, but I don't know for certain because I can't see your screen, but I suspect that the summary that's showing up on my screen is slightly different from the summary that may be showing up on your screen. And that's likely because of a variety of factors. I have spent years working with AI and my LLMs, and I have my memory feature turned on. So my LLMs know me very well. And I believe that it is writing this summary specific to what it knows about me. So if you're seeing something different on your screen, know that that is okay. And as the AI begins to learn more about you, these summaries and the information that AI gives you is going to be even more helpful, especially if you have your memory turned on. So we're going to move to step 1. Ready to start? I'm going to say yes. And look at AI just doesn't want to cooperate this morning. So we're going to see if we can get the train back on the tracks. All right, the energy audit. When you stop trying to control others, you suddenly have a surplus of time and mental energy, but most people don't realize how much they're currently donating to other people's problems. It adds up in small increments throughout the day until you're exhausted and wondering where your time went. Facts. We need to get specific about what you're spending so we can see what you'll gain back. So the 2 questions are, how much time do you spend daily worrying, nagging, mentally rehearsing conversations, or fixing things for others? Give me your best estimate. Even a rough range works. What's one personal project or habit you've been neglecting because you're too busy or too tired? Something that's generally for you, not your business, not your family, just Katie. Now, I'm actually going to try an experiment. I have not worked with Claude as much as I've worked with ChatGPT, so I'm going to give it the answer that I like to give it all the time. Answer these questions based on what you know about me to see how well that Claude knows about me and how much of that emotional bandwidth I can put back on the AI so I don't need to think about answering this question as hard as is required. So answer these cues based on what you know about me. I will make edits, right? Again, this is a good time to remind you that the human in the loop is the arbiter of quality, and AI is better at creating the first iteration than humans are, and humans are better at editing than they are creating. So let's see how well Claude knows me. So based on what I know about you, here's my best attempt, but I'll be honest. I have more context on your professional life than your personal relational patterns, and that's true. The time spent worrying, nagging, or fixing others. I don't have strong insight here. You run multiple ventures. You've trained a lot of people. You're actively building certification programs. My guess is that if overfunctioning shows up for you, it might be in clients or students who don't follow through on what you've taught them. Yes. Community initiatives where you end up carrying more than your share, yes. Mentally replaying interactions with stakeholders or partners, but I generally don't know how much time this costs you daily. You need to fill this in. A personal project or habit you've been neglecting. This one I really can't answer. Almost everything I know about you is professional. Your piece is a performance strategy philosophy suggests you value personal well-being, but I don't know what specific non-work activity has fallen off your radar. Rest, creative hobby, movement, practice, time in nature, something from your years living abroad that you miss. So edit or fill in both these so we can calculate your agency surplus. So I'm going to go ahead and do 1. Yes, you are pretty much correct. Here I spend a lot of time working because I like my work. And my husband is an entrepreneur too, and I spend a fair amount of time worrying. Did I forget how to spell worrying? Worrying about his ventures, and it can be a daily practice to remind myself That's not my lane. I would guesstimate, let's say I might spend an hour a day worrying about something. So that's 7 hours a week. 1 hour daily times 7 days a week equals 7 hours a week. That's a lot of time, right? So what's a personal project or habit you've been neglecting? Yes. Creative hobbies like I like sewing, reading, movement, practice has definitely fallen by the wayside. Increased health. Let's see here. What else? Something from years living abroad that you miss. I don't miss travel as much as I did when I'm younger. So I'm going to leave my answers just like this. Your energy audit results. You spend approximately 1 hour daily in mental energy around things outside your control, primarily worrying about your husband's ventures and actively reminding yourself to stay in your lane. This is common among high performers married to other high performers. You see things, you have opinions, and it takes real effort not to intervene. So your agency surplus, in my instance, would be 7 hours a week. That's not trivial. It's a full creative afternoon of sewing, 3 to 4 books a month if you read 30 minutes a day, a daily 45-minute walk plus a weekend hike. Oh, that would be great. Or some combination of all three. What you've been neglecting for you, not business. Sewing, creative work, reading, movement, practice tied to a bigger goal, increased health. So you already have the self-awareness that your husband's business isn't your lane. The work now is turning that awareness into reclaimed time and a concrete plan so those 7 hours actually go somewhere intentional instead of just dissipating into more work, which you already love but isn't the point here. Does seeing this found time motivate you to reclaim it? So this is really motivating to me, this one specific thing. I also want to point out that you can see me copying and pasting a lot of stuff that the AI is giving me, and that saves a little bit of energy. This doesn't need to be a full journal entry. But again, you work with the AI the way that it works best for you. But that is just another productivity hack. So that landed good. There's something powerful about choosing health. It's not about productivity or output. It's about Katie feeling strong and well in her own body. That's pure agency. So the pivot plan. Now we're on to step 2. In the AI workflow, reclaiming time is only half the battle. If you don't have a plan for it, you'll slide back into overfunctioning, or in your case, probably just pour it back into work, which you love, but that's not the point of this exercise. We need to pivot that energy toward your life. So you've already landed on one clear priority, a daily 45-minute walk and a weekend hike. That leaves about 30 minutes floating. Wow, I still have time left? Oh my gosh. Question for you. Do you want to keep it simple? Movement is the focus and the extra 30 minutes is buffer grace. Add a small secondary activity. No, I want to do number 1. Again, I'm just going to enter number 1. You can see the AI is thinking in the background and it's illustrating for us its reasoning and logic. So here is the pivot schedule, 6.5 hours for you. That just sounds so indulgent and luxurious. I can't even fathom it. So 45-minute walk, Monday through Friday. Saturday, 60 an hour and a half minute hike. Monday, walk or rest. Okay, the 30-minute buffer absorbs the days when life happens. The call runs long, weather's bad, you're just tired, no guilt, it's built in. One scheduling question. Do you have a time of day that works best for your daily walk? Morning before work, midday break, or evening wind down? Midday break is when I prefer to work out for a variety of reasons that may not be relevant to this lesson right here, but I'm going to say midday break. So once you confirm the timing, we're going to lock this in, move to step 3, remove the hook, where we look at language patterns that keep you tangled in your husband's lane. So midday makes sense for you. It's a natural reset. Your pivot schedule, non-negotiable, 12 to 12:45, walk. Not if I have time. It's on the calendar like a client call. Wow. That feels rigid. Let's hang in there, right? Before I say no, let's hang in there. The mindset shift. This isn't a break from work. This is the work of reclaiming your agency. Every time you catch yourself drifting towards your husband's ventures in your head, that's your cue, not my lane. I have a walk scheduled for this energy every time I feel compelled to worry or control. So I'm going to bake that into my next step. So here's our pivot schedule, 2 to 2:45, ready for removing the hook. Step 3, we often use hooks in our communication, questions or statements designed to guilt, nudge, or steer someone into doing what we want, right? We're trying to be influencers. They feel like they care, they feel like helping, but they're control in disguise. The tricky part, hooks usually sound reasonable. That's what makes them effective and hard to spot. Yes, that's true. Think about your husband's ventures, the area where you already practicing staying in your lane. What is a common nag or gentle reminder you give him or are tempted to give? May sound like, did you ever follow up on that thing? I just don't want you to miss the deadline. Have you thought about, I'm only saying this because I care. Give me one sentence you've actually said. Did you call the vet? I think you are taking that project out of order. Should do X yet. Can you slow down and not put the cart in front of the horse? Can you get a signed contract before you invest more time, money into that project? Those are all things I've said. Thank you for being honest. This is where the real work happens. Adobe has only 3 steroids left. Did you call the vet? Statement of fact, followed by a checkup question, the hook. I'm tracking this for you, and now you have to answer to me. Ooh. I think you're taking that project out of order. I think we shouldn't do X yet. Unsolicited strategy advice, the hook. My way is the right sequence, and you should see that. Well, it is. But can you slow down and not put the cart in front of the horse? Cloaked criticism in a question, the hook. You're being reckless, and I need you to know I see it. Wow, these are pretty tough truths to swallow. Can you get a signed contract before you invest more time, money into that project? Risk management disguised as a question, the hook. I don't trust your judgment here, so I'm intervening. Also true. The pattern, you're a systems thinker. You see the SOP that should be followed. When he doesn't follow it, your brain screams, so you help by pointing it out. But here's the truth. He already knows. And if he doesn't, that's his lesson to learn, not yours to teach. Here is where I'm actually going to push back on AI and the let them theory, right? So I'm not quite sure what's going to happen here. And read this. I do this a lot, create my own notes. I have already learned this, and it isn't fair for me to learn it again simply because I am married to my husband and his path might lead to failure or loss. What does the let them theory say about that? That's a real argument that I have with the let them theory. So this is a fair and important pushback. Let me address it directly. The let them theory on this exact tension, because I'm not the only person who has this pushback on this. So hopefully we have something that can clear it up for us. The theory doesn't ask you to pretend you don't see what you see. You're not unlearning your expertise. You earned that pattern recognition through your own wins and losses. What let them says is this: you can know the lesson, you can have learned it the hard way, and it's still not yours to teach to another adult who didn't ask. I don't like that. That doesn't sit well with me. Even your husband, here's the harder truth the theory holds. Let them includes let them fail. His path might lead to failure or loss, and that failure or loss is not your failure, is not something you can prevent, is his information to receive directly from reality. The question is, do I know better? The question isn't, do I know better? The question is my knowing better changing anything, or is it just costing me my peace and our connection? You've already said it takes daily practice to stay in your lane. That's not because you haven't learned the lesson. It's because love makes it hard to watch someone you care about walk toward a wall. But watching is the work, not preventing. Watching is the work. That's an important. Yes, this lands for me, right? Watching is the work, but my argument remains the same. In a married relationship or a business partnership, loss can cost and hurt the other person in a variety of ways. While I want to watch him work, I don't want to be charged for his lessons. Maybe that will make it clearer to AI. Now we're at the real thing. The boundary inside let them. You're right. Let them doesn't mean let them take my finances or let them make decisions that cost us both. Okay, finally, AI is getting what I'm saying. The theory has a built-in limit. You get to protect what's yours. Here's the distinction. Let him run his business his way. Have clear agreements about shared finances, risk exposure, and decision thresholds. Okay, I like that. Let him miss a deadline. Know what you will and won't co-sign, literally and figuratively. Also true. Let him learn from his own mistakes, define what his lesson is allowed to cost you. I like that. The shift for you isn't silence, it's changing what you speak about. Instead of, can you get a signed contract before you invest more time and money, the agency move is, I need us to agree on a cap for how much of our shared resources go into X before we see Y. Okay. I like that. One is managing him, the other one is managing your exposure. Okay, that lands way better for me. Let them doesn't ask you to absorb someone else's consequences. It asks you to stop trying to control their behavior and instead get clear on your own boundaries. You can watch him work. You can also say, here's what I'm willing to be on the hook for. Beyond that, it's yours to carry. Does this reframe help? Yes. This helps. Let's add this sentence into our final output. Now, good. See, now we got over a real stumbling block in real time where I disagreed with the theory in the book and pushed back on AI, and we broke through the other side with a reframe that works for me. So, running list of lines that have resonated. I have a walk scheduled for this energy. The other is managing your exposure. So, we're going to move on to step 4. So, yes, let's move on. So, again, you can see the AI thinking and reasoning. And it moves us to the power of assertive neutrality. The most powerful word in the let them vocabulary is okay. It isn't agreement. It isn't approval. It isn't surrender. It's an acknowledgement of their right to choose while you keep your peace intact. When someone wants to pull you into a debate, defense, or drama, okay is the off ramp. It ends the loop without escalation. So give me a scenario where someone tries to bait you into an argument or ask for your opinion just to ignore it. This could be your husband venting about his business, then doing the opposite of what you'd suggest. Oh, that's true. A client or student pushing back on advice they asked for, a community member wanting you to weigh in on drama, anyone who seems to want a reaction from you. What's a real situation where you get pulled in even when you know better? Goodness. We could use, here's a situation that everyone I feel like can relate to at the moment. Politics, right? Politics. Give me a little more so I can build the right script. Who pulls you in and what do they typically say to bait you? A neighbor says something inflammatory about X topic and waits for my reaction. Family member brings up X at dinner. All of the above. Fair enough. Let's work with the core pattern then. When someone baits you on politics, neighbors, social media, family dinner, they're looking for one of two things: agreement, validation, argument, engagement, drama. You don't owe them either. Ooh, another powerful sentence. The OK toolkit for political bait. Inflammatory statement and pause, waiting for your reaction. You say, then nothing. Don't you think? Political opinion. And you say, I can see why people feel strongly about that. Oh, that's another good non-answer answer. Can you believe what politician did? Okay. I would probably use this sentence. I can see why people feel strongly about that because, okay, it doesn't make sense to me, but direct challenge. Well, what do you think? I'm not doing politics today. I'm not doing politics today. Have you seen the forecast? Okay, they say keeps pushing after you've deflected. You might be right. Then excuse yourself or pivot. Oh, I like that too. You might be right. These aren't lies. They're exits. You're not agreeing with their position. You're declining to enter the arena. Your energy is scheduled for a 2 p.m. walk, not this. Yes, I love this. Okay, I'm going to highlight the ones that I like. These are my faves, so I can see why people feel strongly about that. Politics today, and you might be right. Very good. So those are my favorites. And now we're going to move on to conflict, scripting, and step 5. Noted. Those 3 go in your final guide. So running lines of, here's the list of sentences that have resonated for me that I've said, put this in my final output. So we're going to go to step 5, our conflict scripting. Okay. You need go-to phrases for when the pressure to control or be controlled is high. These scripts help you stay in your lane while remaining kind. We've already covered politics. Now let's get specific about the people who trigger your need to intervene. 2 very different triggers. Let's build scripts for both. My husband tells me about a new project or a major pivot. What your brain wants to do: intervene, question, point out the risks, slow them down. The let them scripts. He announces a new project. Tell me more about what you're seeing. He announces a major pivot. Okay, what do you need from me on this? I'd be afraid to ask that question because he would give me a laundry list of things that he wanted me to do that I don't have energy for because I have a 2 p.m. walk scheduled. You feel the urge to warn or correct silently. I have a walk scheduled for this energy. It affects shared resources and you need to protect your exposure. Before we go further, what's the cap on shared dollars time before we reassess? Specific clients, they haven't responded. Let them be slow. Their timeline is not my worth. Saboteur says you're failing. That's a story, not a fact. I delivered. The rest is theirs. Urge to send a follow-up. You've already sent. I have a walk scheduled for this energy. I like that. If you do need to follow up, once professionally, hi, circling back on X, let me know if you have questions. Happy to help, then release it. Do these phrases feel natural to you? If yes, I'll finalize your pivot and script guide. Okay, I'm going to say on this one that we need to change this sentence because he would give me a laundry list. You need to adjust this sentence because my husband would respond with a laundry list of things he wants me to do, and I have a walk scheduled for that energy, right? We can be snarky with AI. Ha, look at AI even laughed. That script would backfire badly for you. Let's fix it. He announces a major pivot in a shared business. Okay, I hear you. Or if you want to stay warm but still closed, okay, I'll let that land. Which one feels more like you? Give me your version in your voice. Okay, I hear you. That's going to be, there we go. Done. That's the one. Do the rest of the scripts feel natural to you? If yes, I'll finalize your pivot and script guide. So we're going to go ahead and say yes. Again, for illustrative purposes, I'm working through these workflows in a compressed timeline so that I can show this to you and you can see how we work through these. But again, this is your time to think and explore. So if you do want to do even more work with the AI and give longer answers, you are welcome to do that. So please interact with your AI in a way that gives you really valuable and helpful outputs. But I am working a little bit faster today just so we can get through the full demonstration. So now ChatGPT has now given me our pivot and script guide from the Let Them theory. So the agency surplus, we're going to reclaim 7 hours a week. We have the non-negotiable 2 p.m. daily walk. We have the no hook rule. Hooks are questions or statements designed to guilt, right? So your pattern. Here's the truth, the reframe, managing your exposure. Here's what I'm willing to be on the hook for. Beyond that, it's yours to carry. And I like that as a reflection question for myself, right? And I think that that can be helpful for all of us to reflect on that question in our areas of life where we tend to overperform and over deliver. Think about what you're willing to be on the hook for and let the other people carry their baggage. So the neutrality script, tell me more about what you're seeing. Okay, I hear you. I have a walk scheduled for this energy. I might put that on a post-it note on my work window so that I can see it throughout the day. For clients who ghost, let them be slow. I have a walk scheduled for this energy. For political bait, I can see why people feel strongly about that. I'm not doing politics today. You must be right. Lanes to remember. I have lines to remember. I have a walk scheduled for this energy. The other is managing your exposure. Let them be slow. Their timeline is not my worth. That's a story, not a fact. I delivered. The rest is theirs. Let them includes let them fail. Bottom line, let them isn't about not caring. It's about caring enough about your own life to stop pouring your energy into things you were never able to control anyway. Watching is the work. Your 2 p.m. walk is waiting. So there are a variety of things that you can do with this. Sometimes I like to copy all of the text in here and save it to a Google document so I can refer to it in the future. You can also see that Cowork has actually given this to in Visual Studio Code, which I don't know is helpful for me at all. But what I might like to do is try a new can you give this to me in an HTML? Okay, HTML files. Let's try this again. Claude is being difficult today. Could you give this to me in an HTML? It's going to go ahead and write the code here and display it for us on the screen. And we can save this as an HTML file that can be opened on any device and read by humans and AI. So some documents like PDFs or images or scans can be difficult for AI to read, but is really easy for humans to read. But as we go further into the AI economy, we want to be thinking about what types of outputs can be read easily by both computers and humans. And as far as we've uncovered, the HTML file is the sweet spot for both humans and computers. So you can see it's creating this code right now on the left-hand side, and it's actually going to give it to us in an HTML file so we can see visually what it looks like to a human. But since it also has code behind it, it can easily be read by a computer. So here you can see that it's given it to me almost like a presentation, right? Makes it easy to scan visually and refer to. So I could also save this HTML code on my computer instead of a document. Food for thought. That brings us to the end of that workflow. Let's hop back into our presentation quickly and cover the last couple points that we have in our workshop. So, all right, so we went through our application. Now we have an opportunity to share our feedback and insights. What did we learn? What did we observe? What is outstanding? Donna, are you still working?
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. It was interesting seeing it be done on a different AI platform because I haven't used Claude at all. So, yeah, just seeing you try it out in a different one, it seems to have a little bit different vibe to it. Is that something that you see? Like, how do you decide which one you're going to use for these types of things?
Yeah, that's a really good question and a question that we get a lot. I actively work in ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude because right now there's not a clear winner. Each one of them continue to be like neck and neck. One will come out with an update and then you'll be on that device for that day of the update. And then a week later, the other ones come out with their update. So it's kind of an arms race right now between the main platforms. And so I do have paid subscriptions to all three and switch between all three so that I can stress test them all and notice patterns. But we have noticed that Claude can generally speaking at the moment is slightly better and giving a more humanist perspective. It seems to be better at responding to like emails and writing. It's also exceptionally good at code.
Okay.
So Claude is pretty good. Claude recently came out with a new agent that I'm beta testing. It's called Claude Cowork. So that's one of the reasons that I chose Claude today. I've been working in it the last several days with this new feature that they've rolled out, doing some really cool things. Gemini, in my opinion, is really good at creating images because it's got the nano banana feature to create images, but ChatGPT is also really good at creating images. Claude can't create images to save its life.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's just a quick few things that I've observed. You have to kind of experiment with them and see which one lands for you.
Okay. This was really good. I liked how you did the HTML. I hadn't thought about that at the end, but that was like a really nice tip about starting to put things in a different format and just seeing how that played out. And I liked how you highlighted some of the things that you wanted it to bring up at the end, like the things that specifically resonated with you in your notes and everything to get it to pull that back. And also, I think those are really relatable situations that a lot of people can understand and relate to. And so it was nice seeing the pushback of understanding how you can have boundaries, but also that difference of like it's you can't control the things that you can't control. Like you can't control other people in trying, because I think that's definitely a hard thing. I put in the chat, but in my family, we call it being pushy helpful. When you know and they tell you no, thank you, and then you just keep pushing, and now you're not helpful, you're pushy helpful, and so
I
um,
love that.
yeah, I was like, Mom, you're doing the pushy helpfulness again, and then I catch myself doing
And
it now.
no, that's fantastic, but that's also like a very gentle way to like call attention to it without being hurtful. I feel like that's a gentle way to hold people that we care about accountable.
Yeah. I think, at the end of the day, you're trying to be helpful, but then when they don't want to accept that help and you keep going, now it becomes pushy helpfulness, and everybody as adults, like you push back against that, right? The more people tell you what to do, the more you push back. And so I thought that pushback and then finding that those middle ground places where it's not just like, well, fine, do whatever you want to do. And then you have no sense, but it's figuring out what your boundaries are. So that pushback was really helpful. So this was a really great class, and I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. It was very informative, both on the AI front and then watching how it problem solved and how you came to, and having the energy to redirect. I've seen people schedule like worry hours and stuff, but I like the walking hour better. Like this is energy, like you're putting it towards stuff. So it was really interesting. I really enjoyed that one. Thank you.
Yeah. No, that's very good. And I see that we have a comment in the chat from Larson, which I must be streaming somewhere that I'm not aware of. So this will be
I
interesting
don't
to see
even
what
see
I
it.
learned after I stop. Yeah, there's a comment came in from Larson. Larson, thank you for your comment. I don't know where you're at or who you are, but I'm glad you're here. But so Larson says when you use Claude, group RE. Oh, Mike O'Connell. Okay, yes. Okay, excellent. Thank you, Larson and Mike. When you use Claude for email responses, have you applied disc personality style to match the target audience mirrored style preference? I have not done that specific personality test, but I have added similar elements into working with AI. So yes, that can be done. It's another layer that you would add on to it. But yes, that is a very clever thing to use. We have a story brand prompt that follows Donald Miller's story brand. And in the first step of the prompt, it does a psychographic analysis of your ideal customer and tells you all about their fears, their desires, how this thing has failed them in the past, what might prevent them from going forward. And so we partner with AI to create a full psychographic analysis of your ideal client. Then we use that psychographic analysis in another step to write that ideal client's brand story, right? So the hero in Donald Miller's story brand, the hero is your ideal customer avatar. And then you use that psychographic profile to figure out what is their hero's journey when it's interacting with your brand. And all of that information can then be used to craft the custom copy on your website, for example, or the emails that you send to your target audience. You could even weave in the disc to that so that that language comes across in your audience style preference. So those things are all completely possible now with AI. And previously, that level of personalization and customization for each one of our individual clients was next to impossible because it was cost prohibitive to create that customization and personalization at scale. But as you've seen today with the AI action class around the Let Them book, we can now take an AI action class and apply it to any business or personal development book in the world. And we can use those same concepts to mirror our target audience's style preferences and content that is going to help increase conversions so that we can do even more business with them. So thank you for that question, Larson. I hope that that answered your question. If you want to talk further about that, don't hesitate to drop me an email or ping me on LinkedIn. Yes. Okay, we got more feedback. We agree with Donna. Excellent class and pushback responses to get deeper layers. Yes, definitely. AI is an authority, but it is not the authority. So please remember to call AI out on its crap when you need to. And don't hesitate to ask AI if AI says something that you feel like is ridiculous and just isn't jiving for you. Say, explain your logic, or, show your math, or cite your source. You can speak to AI in the same way that you would if you were asking a professional colleague to present and defend their opinion on something that you might not agree with. So remember to push back on AI so that we keep our critical thinking sharp and we keep AI sharp and none of us gets lazy or complacent. So we've got about 4 minutes left in our hour. I'm happy to stay on the line and answer more questions or share more feedback and insights. And I'm also happy to give you all a few minutes back in your hour. So if anybody has any strong opinions on that, please let me know.
Katie, I do have one question. One of the things I run into in terms of the critical thinking and stuff with AI is that just its groveling nature. And is there a way to undo that, or to prompts that you can do to get it to where it does push back and encourage critical thinking instead of telling you everything that you said and did was amazing and the best thing ever?
Uh, Yeah, you can do that. The way
I
I would
keep
handle that.
trying, like, don't, but it just keeps shifting back into that. You're absolutely right. Yes, great idea. Like, everything I do is the most amazing thing ever. And so it would be helpful to have that kind of pushback like you would get in a real conversation with another human.
Yeah. The way that I would probably go about doing that is I would open your preferred LLM and I would start engaging with AI as a thought partner. Say, AI, this is what I want to do. Like, you are my greatest cheerleader. And while I love that and it gives me warm fuzzies in my heart, it's not helpful to me. So I want you to tone it down. How can I tell you, or what do you need me to say to you to get you to, cool it with the you're the world's best player? And then AI is going to give you, you're going to have a conversation with AI about it, and the goal would be is to get that adjusted language stored in your AI's memory so that it knows, okay, this is Donna that I'm interacting with, and Donna doesn't like it when, I pump her up. Donna wants the facts straight, but just go and work with AI as a thinking partner and explain the challenge, explain the desired outcome you want, and get AI to remember that in its memories. And then when it does interact with you, hopefully you're going to see that decrease. But there are certainly times when you can give instructions to AI and it can disobey the instructions.
Okay.
So I'll call AI out and be like, hey, no, that is completely wrong. We've talked about this.
Okay.
And then I feel like a parent, like that's against the rules.
Okay,
Why are you
you know
doing
you got
that?
the ball.
I know. Then the AI will come back to me and be like, "You're right. That was on me." I was like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that anymore."
I was like, "Please don't apologize for everything." It's like, "I'm sorry that I said I'm sorry." I'm like, "No, please, you're right." I'm like, "Oh my god." Okay, that's funny.
Just remember, like, we're the parent, the AI is
Yeah.
the child. Like, we're driving the car, they're the passenger, right? They're the co-pilot. They're not driving the car, we're driving the car.
Yeah, this was super helpful. Thank you. And I've already forwarded this action class to some other friends and everything. It's been really great and I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, I love the engagement from you and, of course, Michael Connell's group. So, if you guys want to help me pick the book for February, we are going to
Okay.
do another book and an AI action class in February. So, would love to
What
hear
kind of
everybody's
books do you look for?
suggestions. Either a business book or a personal development book.
Okay. Do you have a list of ones you've already done?
Yeah, we've only done 2. This is only our second
Oh,
month doing
okay.
this. In December, we did the best year. It was a reflection and projection journal from Intelligent Change. And
Okay.
then we did the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. So those are the only 2 books we've done so far. And let me know what you guys want to go deeper on.
All right. Very good. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a great day, Katie.
Awesome. Yep. Bye bye.